to a look like famed NBA trainer Chris Brickley has broken his silence about Caitlin Clark.
Okay, so here's what's happening. The Indiana Fever just made a move, and honestly, it's got everyone scratching their heads about what their priorities really are. Chris Brickley, who's one of the most respected basketball trainers out there, actually wants to work with Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is the guy who's trained LeBron James and Kevin Durant. But get this, the Fever's front office is putting up all these roadblocks. So now you have to wonder if they genuinely want Caitlin to reach her full potential, or if there's something else going on behind the scenes. Quick question for you. Do you think the Fever's front office is truly looking out for Caitlin's best interests right now?
Structure of that specific team.
Yes.
So
yeah. You just called it.
Sometimes
some teams are like, no,
they've got
you need
people
to be with me a year for the first 3 years. This is happening with me and Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark finished her rookie season. We've been talking for a few years, and
you worked with Caitlin Clark?
So we were going to work last summer, but I was gonna have to go to Indianapolis. And I respect it. Like when you're young on your team, you
Listen, Chris Brickley finally spoke up about wanting to work with Caitlin Clark for her recovery heading into the 2026 season. And honestly, this should have been a total no-brainer. But somehow, the Fever managed to make it super complicated. Brickley isn't just some random trainer looking for clout. No way. This man has worked with NBA champions, genuine superstars, and basically anyone who's serious about taking their game to the next level. When someone like that offers to work with your franchise player, you say yes. You don't create a bunch of obstacles. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has trained LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and an endless list of champions. He gets results, plain and simple. What's crazy is that he's publicly said he's been trying to work with Caitlin for years now, and that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping now this season, this off season,
Actually been in touch for a few years. They were even supposed to work together last summer, but there was a catch. He would have had to go to Indianapolis. Now Brickley completely understood that young players usually train at their team's practice facilities, and that makes total sense. But what doesn't make sense is why the Fever is making it so incredibly difficult for their biggest star to train with one of the best in the game. Brickley even mentioned he's hoping she'll come to New York this offseason so they can finally get some work in. He called her an amazing talent, someone who has completely changed the game in women's sports. That's some serious praise from a guy who's seen the absolute best of the best. But apparently the Fever's front office has completely different ideas about Caitlin's offseason. And get this, think about what Caitlin went through in the 2025 season. Injuries just kept piling up, and honestly, their medical staff looked questionable at best. There were huge questions about whether the team was even managing her health properly. She needed to handle physicality better, and their big solution was just to add muscle. That didn't really work out. A lot of people actually believe all that extra muscle contributed to her injuries throughout the entire season.
I'm hoping that she'll come to New York and we'll get some work in. She's the reason why the WNBA has become so big. I would love to work with her.
Yeah.
She's an amazing talent. She's changed the game.
She has absolutely changed.
Yeah.
Women's sports.
For sure.
Just
and I love
generally
competitiveness too.
Oh man, I know. She's that's the other piece too, that like it's okay for women to be competitive. You know, like
Sure.
This is exactly why working with someone like Chris Brickley makes so much sense, right? He could help her build a system to deal with all that physicality without constantly hurting her body. He could teach her how to escape those tough situations when defenders are trapping her. Plus, he could really refine her shooting off the dribble and help her adjust to all kinds of different defensive schemes. These are crucial things Caitlin needs if she's going to keep dominating at the professional level. But here's the thing that's so incredibly frustrating about this whole situation. The Fever seems way more focused on controlling where and how Caitlin trains than they are on actually helping her improve. They want her at their facility in Indianapolis. They want her working with their staff. And sure, there's a point to be made about team cohesion and using your own resources. But when you have a generational talent on your roster, you literally do whatever it takes to help them reach their absolute ceiling.
Trainer Chris Brickley. Brickley has trained or worked with at least some of the most famous names in the game. LeBron James, Kevin Durant. I mean, there is a list that goes on and on. He's sort of a celebrity trainer, if you will, in a sense, but you don't get to that status if you don't have the credibility
Look, think about it this way. If your car breaks down and the best mechanic in the entire country offers to fix it for free, you don't say no because you'd rather use the guy down the street. That would be insane, but that's basically what the Fever is doing right now. They're turning down world-class help because it doesn't fit into their organizational structure or whatever bureaucratic nonsense they're worried about. What's wild is that Brickley has been super respectful through all of this. He understood Caitlyn needed to train at the practice facility when she was first starting out. He didn't make a big fuss. He waited patiently. Now that she's established herself and is clearly the face of the league, he's just saying he'd love to work with her in New York. That seems totally reasonable, but the Fever still isn't making it easy. You really have to wonder what they're so worried about. Are they scared that if Caitlyn works with an outside trainer, it'll make their staff look bad? Are they worried about losing control over their franchise player? Or is there some other drama going on that we just don't know about? Whatever the reason, it just doesn't look good. When your organization is standing in the way of your star player getting elite training, that's a serious problem. And let's be real, this isn't just about getting stronger or adding muscle like they tried before. She needs to develop smarter ways to handle physical defense without getting completely beaten up. She needs to create space when defenders are all over her, and work on finishing through contact without just relying on getting calls. These are advanced skills that demand specialized training from someone who's worked with the best players on the planet. Chris Brickley has that experience. He knows what works, what doesn't, and how to take a player's skills and make them unstoppable. That's exactly what Caitlyn needs right now. She's already one of the league's best, but she can hit another level with the right support. Plus, the timing of all this is pretty suspicious. Right when Caitlyn could benefit the most from an elite offseason trainer, the Fever puts up roadblocks. It almost feels like they care more about protecting their ego than helping their players succeed, and that's a dangerous mindset. And get this, Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA has exploded. Brickley himself said she changed the game, bringing millions of new fans. She is the face of the league, period. So, with a player like that, you do everything you can to support them, not create unnecessary hurdle. The Fever should be rolling out the red carpet for any trainer of Brickley's caliber, not making it difficult. They're prioritizing organizational preferences over their players' best interest, and that's just backwards thinking. Some people might argue that the Fever staff knows her body and game best. Fair point, but here's the counter. Their medical staff and training approach led to a season full of injuries. Maybe it's time for a different approach. An outside perspective could totally help. And what's more, Caitlyn needs some independence in her career. She's not a teenager needing micromanagement. She's a pro who should choose her trainers. The Fever acting like overprotective parents helps. Nope, it's ridiculous. Because other players work with outside trainers all the time. It's totally normal in pro sports. NBA players use specialized coaches outside team facilities, and nobody bats an eye. But for Caitlyn, the Fever apparently thinks everything needs to be under their watch. That's just weird and controlling. The fact that Brickley is still interested after all this time tells you how much he respects her game. He's selective. His time and reputation matter. His years of trying to work with her mean he sees something truly special he wants to develop. And think about it from Caitlyn's side. One of the best trainers in basketball publicly wants to work with her, and her own team is making it hard. That has to be so frustrating. She's too professional to complain publicly, but she knows the opportunity she's missing because the Fever can't get out of its own way. On top of that, the Fever's approach clearly isn't working. Injuries, question medical staff, criticize training method. So why are they so resistant to trying something new? Pride? Stubbornness? Whatever it is, it's not helping Caitlyn or the team. At some point, the Fever needs to realize that helping Caitlyn reach her full potential helps everyone. A better, healthier, more skilled Caitlin Clark means more wins, more fans, more money. It's simple, but instead, they're stuck trying to control everything, and it's gonna backfire if they're not careful. Chris Brickley working with Caitlyn in New York during the offseason should be a total non-issue. She goes to New York, works with one of the best, comes back better than ever. Everyone wins, but the Fever is making it unnecessarily complicated. The bottom line, the Indiana Fever needs to get out of its own way and let Caitlyn work with whoever she wants. If that's Chris Brickley, awesome. If it's someone else, fine. But blocking their franchise player from world-class training is just bad business and terrible player management. Caitlin deserves better, and so do the fans who want to see her play at her highest level. The Fever blocking Caitlin from Brickley is a perfect example of an organization messing things up for itself. If they're serious about winning and keeping their star happy, they need to fix this fast. So, what do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more content.